Most men think they know how to kiss, but after more than a decade caring for men's intimate health, I can tell you a surprising truth. Many of you are aiming at the obvious and overlooking three gentle hidden zones that can ignite a woman's body and heart, especially after 50. These aren't random spots. They speak to her brain's bonding and pleasure systems, creating calm safety and a deep sense of being cherished. If you're ready to upgrade connection, tap like, subscribe, and share this with a friend who could use kinder, wiser intimacy. I'm Dr. Sophie Clarke, and today I'll show you where these areas are, why they work, and how a slower, more intentional approach turns a simple kiss into a conversation her whole body understands. Here's the real problem. What worked at 25 rushed, forceful destination. Focused often backfires later in life. Mature intimacy starts in the mind, settles into the heart, and only then reaches the body. Women in midlife and beyond tend to respond to presence, patience, and subtlety. The three zones we'll explore help her nervous system shift from guarded to receptive, turning tension into trust. When approached with respect and care, these kisses can release feel-good bonding signals that make her feel safe, seen, and deeply desired, without you needing to perform harder or faster. Over the next parts, I'll give you clear step-by-step guidance on each zone, how to find it the right pressure, the timing, and the signals to watch for so you never cross a boundary. We'll also talk about common mistakes that shut connection down and simple fixes that open it back up. Think of this as a new language of touch, lighter, slower, and far more meaningful. When you learn it, every kiss becomes a way to say, I respect you, I'm here, and I'm listening. In part 2, we'll break down the science of why these areas work, so your technique isn't guesswork, it's confidence with care. Let's start with the science behind these three zones, why they matter, and how gentle touch in the right places can spark both physical and emotional responses. According to research from the Cleveland Clinic and Harvard Medical School, women's arousal and bonding are deeply connected to the release of oxytocin, the trust and connection hormone. Unlike adrenaline-driven desire, oxytocin builds slowly through comfort, warmth, and emotional safety. That's why a well-placed kiss that feels nurturing, not demanding, can awaken her body naturally. Each of the three zones will explore the forehead, the neck, just below the ear, and the inside of the wrist is rich in sensory nerves and blood vessels. When kissed softly, these areas send signals through the vagus nerve to the brain, calming stress responses and increasing feelings of safety and affection. This isn't about seduction tricks. It's about using biology wisely. Gentle, rhythmic touch lowers cortisol, deepens breathing, and opens emotional pathways that make physical intimacy feel natural instead of forced. The reason this matters more after 50 is simple hormonal shifts, and life stress can make arousal slower to build. Many men think they need to increase pressure or intensity, but the opposite is true. The more you help her body relax, the more circulation and sensitivity return. According to the National Institutes of Health, relaxation and emotional connection can increase natural lubrication and blood flow. No pills, no rush, just understanding her biology. So when you kiss her forehead, you're speaking to her mind. When you trace the curve below her ear, you're easing her tension. And when you lightly brush your lips along her inner wrist, you're inviting trust. Each kiss is like a message saying, you're safe, you're loved, you're seen. In part 3, we'll look at the most common mistakes men make, what breaks this connection, and how to avoid turning a moment of warmth into pressure or awkwardness. Now that you understand the science, let's talk about the mistakes that quietly ruin the moment for many men, especially those who mean well but rush or misread signals. The first and most common mistake is trying to make these kisses lead somewhere immediately. when a kiss becomes a shortcut to a goal instead of a gift of presence, her body senses the pressure. Studies from the American Psychological Association show that stress hormones like cortisol can override desire, shutting down the same pathways oxytocin is trying to open. In simple terms, if she feels rushed, her body closes off. The second mistake is overdoing the physical and underdoing the emotional. Many men focus on technique, how soft, how long, where exactly, but forget the emotional context. If your attention feels mechanical or self-focused, she'll sense it instantly. Real connection comes from curiosity, not control. You're not performing a routine, you're reading subtle cues, her breath slowing her shoulders, dropping the warmth in her response. These are signs you're building safety, not pressure. Another subtle but serious mistake is ignoring consent and comfort. Even in long-term relationships, boundaries can shift depending on stress, health, or mood. Touch that felt welcome yesterday might not feel right today, and that's okay. The most confident men are the ones who check in quietly, a look, a smile, a pause that asks, "Is this okay?" That pause shows respect, and respect builds trust faster than any technique. Lastly, neglecting emotional timing can undo all your effort. Intimacy doesn't start in the bedroom. It begins hours earlier with kindness, patience, and listening. When you rush from conversation to contact without emotional warmth, she'll feel the gap. So take the time to reconnect first. A gentle compliment, a shared laugh, or simply holding her hand can prepare her nervous system for closeness long before the first kiss. Now let's walk through each of the 3 zones, slowly, respectfully, and with intention. Remember, this isn't about following a script. It's about creating presence. Every woman's rhythm is different, so your role is to notice, not to force. 1. The forehead. The kiss of calm. Begin here. The forehead kiss isn't about passion, it's about grounding. It tells her, "You're safe with me." Approach slowly, place your lips gently at the center of her forehead, and hold for 2 or 3 seconds. Don't rush away. The stillness lets her body recognize warmth and care. According to the Mayo Clinic, gentle forehead contact can stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system, reducing heart rate and tension. This single kiss can dissolve anxiety and open her heart to deeper touch later on. 2. The neck below the ear. The kiss of surrender. This area has a high concentration of sensory nerves and blood vessels. It's tender, intimate, and incredibly responsive. Start by brushing your lips near her jawline and slowly trace toward the spot just below her ear. Keep your movements slow. Think, whisper, not grab. A soft exhale or shiver from her means you're tuned in. Avoid wet or aggressive kisses. Subtle, steady warmth creates far more connection. A Harvard Health study notes that this region links directly to emotional regulation centers in the brain, so gentle contact can literally help her release stress and open to affection. 3. The inner wrist. The kiss of trust. This one is easily overlooked but deeply symbolic. The skin here is thin, warm, and rich with pulse points. Take her hand softly, turn it upward, and brush your lips across the inside of her wrist. Linger, breathe, and let silence do the rest. The message isn't "I want," but "I cherish." This small act activates oxytocin and signals safety, which the National Institutes of Health associate with stronger emotional bonding and physical comfort. When you bring all of this together, the science, the patience, and the art of gentle attention, you begin to understand that kissing isn't about skill. It's about energy and intention. Mature intimacy, especially after 50, is less about performance and more about presence. The 3 zones we've explored, the forehead, the neck below the ear, and the inner wrist, are simply doorways. What truly matters is the message behind each touch. You're safe, you're valued, you're loved. That's what her body and mind are listening for. In studies from the Cleveland Clinic and Harvard Health Publishing, couples who engage in affectionate, non-demanding touch show lower blood pressure, improved mood, and higher relationship satisfaction. Those small, thoughtful gestures activate the same pathways that reduce stress and boost long-term bonding. So even if you never move beyond those 3 kisses, you're already doing something profoundly healing for both of you. The beauty of this approach is that it doesn't fade with time. In fact, it grows stronger the more consistently you practice it. Every kiss becomes an opportunity to listen to her breathing, her body language, her unspoken emotions. You'll begin to sense when she needs reassurance, when she feels playful, and when she's ready for deeper closeness. That's what real connection looks like, not guessing, but understanding. So tonight, start small. Take a breath, slow down, and offer one of these simple, intentional kisses. Watch her reaction, not with expectation, but with care. That's where confidence truly lives, not in control, but in empathy. I'm Dr. Sophie Clarke, and I hope today's lesson helps you rediscover the kind of intimacy that lasts. If you found this meaningful, subscribe to Health for Seniors. Share it with someone who could use a reminder that tenderness never goes out of style, and remember, every touch, when given with respect, is a chance to love better.